Hey guys, it's GS Loop DFS bringing you my top 3 plays for UFC 259 this weekend. Kicking it off with my value play is going to be Aljamain Sterling, coming in at $7,800 on the Draftkings slate. What I like about Sterling is his matchup against a tough Peter Yan. While Yan started the week as a favorite on the Vegas lines, he has actually made the matchup into a coin flip, as a lot of bettors have been hammering Sterling as the lines dropped. I think a lot of reason for this is the tough matchup he poses. He has a reach advantage over Jan, which means that he should be able to piece him up with his leg kicks from afar. Sterling also does have very long limbs, which only helps that even more. He also has an advantage when it comes to submissions in his wrestling as well. So if Jan tries to close that distance, he's going to be met with Sterling's biggest weapon, which is his submissions. He wins 45% of his fights by submission. He also wins 20% of them by knockout. So in either situation, he is playing with fire going against Sterling, which I think is something that Jan's going to be thinking about. And I honestly don't know what he will be able to do to overcome that. I think he's going to have to knock out Sterling, which I don't think is something that is very likely to happen either. So I see Sterling winning for sure. I don't see him knocking out Jan. Jan's very tough, but I do see it being a very high scoring affair where some control time is going to be going to Sterling. There's going to be a ton of strikes, probably some takedowns, maybe even some knockdowns either way. But I do think Sterling's the way to go. He gives you a lot of value as well, given his price tag is only $7,800, and I'll have him in probably every single lineup that I have. It's going to be a little bit of a risk, but I do think it'll pay off most of the time. So I recommend playing him as a good value play this week. My GPP play for this week. So the guy that's a little bit different, he's not going to have much ownership, but I think could definitely score big this week, is going to be Dominic Cruz, coming in at $8,100. While it's essentially a coin flip between him and Casey Kenny, I do expect this to be a shot where Dominic Cruz shines. I'm just going to start off with a narrative here. Dominic Cruz has had a couple disappointing performances recently, to put them lightly, and essentially his career's on the line. I expect this to be a spot where Dana White sets him up against, for lack of a better word, a cupcake matchup where you can just eat it alive, smash them, and get that fire going again. So it's not even just the narrative that I like here. It's the ownership, to be quite honest with you. I think a lot of people see those recent performances. They're scared to play Dominic Cruz. I think the price doesn't help him either. He's essentially right in the middle of the pricing board, which seems to be a place that a lot of people try to avoid. And the scoring system seems to be against Dominic Cruz as well. He's essentially strike oriented. He does have some control time, but he is mostly based on his strikes, which it doesn't help him with that new change. But with all that being said, if this is a spot where Dominic Cruz is going to come out and respark his career, he's probably going to knock out Casey Kenny, and it might even be in the first round. And if he does that, he's going to be someone you absolutely have to have, given that he's going to be sub 10% ownership. I don't think he's a lock by any means. I think he's someone that you can put in a lineup where he fits as a good flyer, and he really does have that big upside because of the low ownership. So I don't hate him by any means. I do think he's a good GPP play. And my smash play, the guy who's going to be in literally every single lineup that I have this week, is Israel Adesanya, coming in at $9,200. So Vegas has him as a big favorite. Actually, one of the biggest favorites on the card. I think he's the second biggest favorite behind Amanda Nunes, who she should definitely be the biggest favorite. And it's only gone bigger as the week has gone on. He's actually gone more and more favored as the week has gone on. I think he'd be a bigger favorite, but I do think there's some hesitancy because he is moving up to the light heavyweight division for the first time. But I think that extra weight is going to help him immensely. He's already one of the highest output strikers in the UFC, but now with that extra weight, he's going to have a lot more behind those punches. I think Izzy could knock out Blakovic in the first 30 seconds. Like, I think it's that kind of potential. The guy is going to have so much more power. He's just technically probably, actually, I'm going to take that back. I'm just going to state it. He's the most technically sound striker in the world. John Jones is a close number two, and I think this is the fight that they're trying to set up. So I think he goes out there and he smashes Blakovic. Even if he's not able to break Blakovic because he's still getting used to that new weight, it's going to be 5 rounds of him absolutely torturing and just piecing up Blakovic. Blakovic is slower. He's not as technical. It's not even going to look like a close fight, to be quite honest with you. I hate to say I love Blakovic. I think he's a great fighter, but Adesanya is one of the greatest fighters of all time. The stats say it, the eye test shows it, and you're going to see it on Saturday, to be quite honest with you. So he's going to be in every lineup that I have. Again, first round finish upside. Even if it's not a finish, he's probably going to be the highest scoring fighter on the entire slate. So that's my 3 picks for tonight, guys. And good luck.